So, I guess to start off, did you have any formal sex education in your middle school, high school?
I actually had my first sex ed class in 5th grade in elementary school.
Me too.
And it was really, really awkward because I separated the boys and the girls. And I obviously, anything that I could choose to, participate in that was, a group, out of the ordinary or whatever, I would have obviously sat with my female friends. So it was weird being with all these boys, and they were talking about, your penis getting hard and, how one day, if not already, you will, have semen come out of your penis, and it might happen when you're sleeping, or you might cause it yourself. And it was, this crazy thing, and, all these boys were laughing, and, there was this one really old teacher, Mr. Facito, who, was so serious about everything, and he, was giving this talk, and he was like, you in gym class, and you see a girl that you like, there's a chance that your penis is gonna stick straight out. So all of the, 5th grade boys obviously started fucking laughing, because it's, that's a funny thing to say, and he was like, it's not funny. It's so it's serious? And it was just really awkward. And I remember being so interested. But I also, I grew up in a household where, okay, you learned about your body as soon as your body started to, as soon as shit started to hang and curl up and twist and stank, you learned what was up.
That was my next question. Did you know anything about, your body or, sex ed? Would be considered sex ed before the formal talk?
I mean, I don't know if it's just a thing of, I would like to say, and I've said in the past that it's a thing of, black households, but, that's not necessarily true. But my household specifically was all about, you have to know how your body works and, what your body is going to do as an adult in order to protect yourself from, negative people and things like that.
Yeah.
So I always, my parents used to tell me when I was younger, they'd be like, keep your worm in your pants. Don't let nobody touch your worm. And then my dad, so old-fashioned, would always be like, man and woman, when man and woman love each other, and it would get graphic. There was no cut cards. There was just, straight out, men and women, stick their penises in vaginas. And he would use a full terminology. My dad calls a vagina a vagina. So
How young were you?
Literally 7.
I think that's a good thing.
It's a good thing.
Yeah.
My kid gonna get the sex talk early as hell, but I'm not gonna be as nice about it because it's gonna be 2050. So I'm just gonna be I fuck your dad a lot and it's great. That's what I'm gonna say.
So what was it? Did you do sex ed again in high school? Because I did sex ed in 5th grade, and it was you're changing body, and you get your sex organ talks, and then in high school. Well, I didn't get it until senior year because I went to Catholic school, but...
in... I want to say 7th grade, we had to sign a paper on release form, and, this guy, I forget his name, but we, did the whole, it was centered around birth bullshit, and he was and, you could have, a question box, and, obviously, this just talks about the basics, anatomy, but this was the first time that it was together, so 7th grade, boys and girls together learning about sex, blah, 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 it was so, charged, whatever, but he did it, this guy was Mr. Ficalora, I know I'm not making these fucking names up, but his name was, and he handled it so appropriately, it was so fun, kind of, and he had a tip box and you could ask questions anonymously, and we would have a 15-minute designated, it was block schedule too, so we had it's probably, maybe it was 30 minutes, but we had a long question session.
Hour and a half.
Yeah, after the unit, so the unit was a couple of weeks, and during the block schedule at the end we would have a question session, and one of the questions that I thought was so funny was someone wrote, what is semen? And I was like, okay, next level. Okay, someone has it advanced. You obviously watch porn, 7th grader. And then he was like, semen is the excess. And he's like, it's basically cum, blah, 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 whatever. And it was just or basically sperm. Semen is semen. But, it was just funny because they the way he explained it. And it's, it's more of a slang term for, blah, 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 not a slang term. I forget his exact words. Anyways, he talked about semen. Now you guys are gonna making it seem like I didn't have any sex education at all because I'm semen.
What about what's it called? What about informally? Like, did you ever talk about it with your friends before, or like outside of class?
Oh, I couldn't talk about sex enough. We always talked about. I was always like, oh my god, balls, like, you know, and even that could be a conversation on certain days. You could just be like, oh, I'm like, hey, I have to tell you something, like, you know, and then they'd be like, balls, and then it would end there. But yeah, we would talk about like, oh, like, blah, like, you know, in the country, we were always like, I showed my cousin my penis, or like stupid shit. But, like, that's not sex ed. We were never like, hey, like, in 7th grade, like, use condoms. But, like, we talked about sexual things. And, like, we talked about secret little porn visits. And then there were always, like, the group of boys that, like, had the sleepovers, like, the coveted sleepovers that all the gay boys wanted to go to, where, like, they literally just masturbated in front of each other.
Oh, my God.
Like, you know, little circle jerks at, like, 7th grade. And then in high school, we did have a, I think it was freshman year when we had to take health the second part. But, they literally gave up because we were so damn immature. Like, they would try and we'd be like, fuck you! Like, and we, like, had freshman girls that, like, were already fucking 22-year-olds because it was the country. So, like, it was a lost cause. And, like, it was such a haphazard unit.
What was I gonna say? Did they ever talk about, I don't know, the sort of emotional preparedness or, like, things you need to know in that capacity?
About
the relationship element?
They would like... Well, actually, yes. I'm going to say that because they framed all the conversations around it in the, like, yeah, when you love someone. Or, like, in a relationship. They never made it realistic. So, yeah, I'll say it, yes, but not in a good way.
What do you mean not in a good way? Like, it was, like
it was always...
Only if you're married.
Yeah, they talked about sex as if it only happened after, like, years of devoted time. It's like, dude... You know, it was crazy. And that's part of the reason why I think that it was unsuccessful. Because, like, obviously 14, like, it wasn't 2016. But, like, it was still, like, we weren't going to take that conversation seriously.
Yeah.
It didn't stick.
And I'm wondering why males don't feel so compelled to, I don't know, about these issues.
Okay, well, this is a great question because I actually, like, obviously, as you know, like, even though I'm, like, being funny, like, I really do feel really strongly about this issue, and I'm actually starting a project for one of my classes that's going to be a semester-long project about bettering the sex education or just bettering, highlighting the problems with not having a proper sexual education in high school and earlier, especially since sexuality, as you said, is literally injected into every single purchase, every single commodity.
Exactly.
Like, an interesting thing that was brought up recently with the Democratic debate was Megyn Kelly, like, face beat at a debate, like, you know, the fact that sexual makeup, you know, run with that. But like, that makeup, it's alluring. It's not, it's seductive. Yeah, it's not like, it's not for coverage. It's more, it's attractive. Right. It's like the fact that is for a woman, you know, professional, like, that's weird. And it's like, we expect that. And I think that to comment on how you feel like for males, like, why there isn't so much of, like, a push for the conversation or a push to further their knowledge. It's just like the way sexuality is set up. It's like women are obviously expected to be sexual objects, but I think I think that we've done it for so long that, like, we've placed it in ways that we don't even realize. So it's like, I'm trying to think of an example where it really shouldn't be there, but, like, it is. But, like, you know, even the way that, like, Disney Channel, like, has dressed and, like, lets the dress and portrayed, like, young females or emerging females, it's like there's always so much dependence on, like, a male liking you or, like, finding a male, like, this, that, and the other. And, like, you know, people have made jokes before. It's like, oh, men, like, you know, dad bod, like, it doesn't matter what a man looks like because he has a dick. And it's like, that, like, is so true in so many ways. People literally think like that, like, you know, or just, like, the number of females that, like, don't come during sex or, like, literally go half their lives without orgasming. It's like, we literally believe that, like, the dick is, like, so good and mighty powerful. It's just, like, it's, like, I feel like girls are growing up thinking that they're lucky to get it versus, like, you know, you are one half of, like, my sexual experience. So you're, like, you know, we're supposed to, like, come together, like, puzzle piece. And it's more of, like, it's like this, it's like a trickle down. It's like, I'm going to give you this dick. And I feel like that's why guys are like, oh, I don't have to do anything because I have a dick. And then also, like, it's a lot easier for a man to like pleasure himself sexually versus a female, and that's not necessarily scientifically true, but I think the society makes people feel as though it's true. You know, a guy masturbating is like what a guy does versus like a female masturbating. It's like, ooh, she's strong. It's like, she's kind of a human, so like, she should be. Did that make sense?